Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the KMN 1971 back with another edition of Dollar Bin Bingers from the Fringes. Basically, all the books in this haul just cost $1. So I have about 30 books to show, and man, I've been shooting YouTube videos for a little over 4 years now, and man, at least in my area, the dollar bin landscape has changed pretty drastically. The dollar bins used to be my go-to for like titles like G.I. Joe Volume 1, Conan the Barbarian Volume 1, Star Wars Volume 1, Uncanny X-Men, Moon Knight, Nova, all Volume 1s. And, aside, if it wasn't a key issue, most likely you could get a really nice copy in the dollar bins. And at least in my area, that is no longer the case. Usually, what I like to go for in the dollar bins is the same things that we all pretty much hunt for in the dollar bins. Fillers for our runs, great reads, on the cheap, some sweet covers, first appearances, and of course those jewels in the rough, those books that are worth much more than $1 and should not be in the dollar bin, but somehow, some way are. So have about 30 books to show, $29 in all. So even though I didn't find any of my go-tos there, I still found some pretty cool stuff. Starting off with this. This is the Dark Crystal #1. I love my 1980s movie adaptations. So here's #1 and #2. And I actually picked up that set at my regular LCS that doesn't really sell dollar bin books. But this was in a set for both of them for $1. So not bad. Here's a couple, and this dollar bin haul is comprised of basically 3 stores. So here's my backup LCS where I usually just get my supplies and an occasional book here and there. But Batman Universe, I guess this is all the Batman stories by Brian Michael Bendis that were in the Walmart giant size issues. I don't have, well, I try to avoid Walmart like the plague to begin with, but I did go into one of my local Walmarts looking for these books, and they don't carry them. So I'm glad to get this. I guess this reprints all of those stories. So $4.99, but only pay buck for it. Pretty cool. Star Wars Legends #108. Another pretty good size issue, only for $1. I already have a copy, but this one I will be sending off to my cousin, who is also a big Star Wars fan. Marvel Knights Wave 2 preview has a sketch of the second Black Widow, Yelena, who I can never remember her last name. But previews are big nowadays, and on a very, very, very good day, this can fetch like $10. Superman Man of Steel #22. I thought I already owned this copy because I pretty much bought the whole death and return of Superman storyline back in the 90s, but I just couldn't find it. So pick this up for $1. This is the first full appearance of Steel. Nomad #4. This used to be like a wall book probably about 5, 6 years ago or whatever, like right before the first Deadpool movie came out, and it's still worth more than $1, so I'll definitely pick it up every time. And the last book from my backup LCS is Morbius #1. I figured why not. So, moving on to my honey hole. Now, over the years, this is where I bought the majority of my dollar bin books. And I'm afraid this will be coming to an end shortly, too. Because my honey hole is basically a comic book shop that doesn't get any new comics, and it's run by a senior citizen gentleman. And basically, he ended up getting help from a younger person, and by younger I mean someone around my age in their late 40s, to help him rearrange his store and reorganize it because there was it did need some some serious reorganization. And I guess he went through all the dollar bins. Now on the plus side, there's a lot more books for me that I've been buying that were in his like double boxes and just unorganized, and I just didn't have access to them before. So that's cool, and you'll be seeing those in my next traditional haul. But unfortunately, a lot of the jewels that I used to pick out of the dollar bins are no longer there anymore. So this is pretty much the last real stash that I ended up getting before he ended up purging out his dollar bins. So I ended up picking up Rise of the Midnight Suns Morbius #1, still in its poly bag. And I picked up 3 copies of this, just in case. Picked up another copy of Secret Wars #3, which is the first appearance of the Beyonder in human form. bringing me up to like 7 or 8 copies now. The New Mutants, number 18. I'm surprised I'm still pulling this one out. And this is the first appearance of the Demon Bear. X-Terminators, number 1. This was a spec book probably several months ago this year. I can't remember why. Excalibur, number 1. This is actually the newsstand copy. You can tell because there's no price there or anything. And I didn't even know that there was a newsstand copy of this. So I have the direct edition, but really cool to pick that up for $1. First appearance of Excalibur. Tales of the Teen Titans, number 58. Once again, a cheap run filler. I have basically the complete Marv Wolfman and George Perez run on Teen Titans. And I guess with like issue number 50, which was the marriage of Donna Troy, George Perez was no longer penciling any of the issues on Tales of the Teen Titans. So from issue 51 to 58 were fill-in issues. So I remember as a kid, I wasn't really crazy about them, but if I come across them in the dollar bins, in good condition, the completist in me will pick them up. After issue number 58, it went over into reprints until the title was eventually canceled. A couple of more run fillers, series that I love to collect, especially out of the dollar bin. So, The Question, number 4, and number 21. Animal Man, number 9, and number 10, which is worth it just for these incredibly awesome Brian Bolland covers alone. Some more cheap spec books, and also a run that I like to collect from the dollar bins, at least the John Byrne issues. Alpha Flight, number 5, which is the first appearance of the character that ends up becoming the Talisman. In issue number 19. Another book that I already own a copy of, but for $1, it would be criminal to just leave it there. What If Elektra Had Lived? Written and illustrated by Frank Miller. I thought this was pretty cool. Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. 1A, I guess it was a 1B also, and this came as an insert in some Star Wars toy, but sometimes these things can become very collectible, and hell, a Boba Fett oriented Star Wars comic in the dollar bins, why not, man? Depth, The High Cost of Living, number 1. This is the first time that Depth headlined her own comic, and this was a miniseries that I used to own back in the day, and I think I ended up trading it in, but really happy to pick this up for $1. I'd love to pick up issues 2 and 3, too. Action Comics, number 565. I've always liked that Keith Giffen Trinity ambush bug cover, so for $1, it's going into the PC. Superman I believe this is number 320. It's a Whitman variant, and this is one of those old school Superman books that was like one of the very first comic books that I remember, my parents buying me way back in the day. So for $1, that's some great nostalgia for $1. Picked up another copy of Superman number 4, which is the first appearance of Bloodsport. A book that has taken off a bit since DC Fandom. Another one that I was surprised to find, Marvel Fanfare number 11, the first appearance of the Iron Maiden. And I guess the best pick out of the dollar bins, my second copy of The Incredible Hulk number 234, the first appearance of Quasar, when he actually goes by the name of Quasar and not Marvel Boy anymore. So, not a bad haul for $29, I don't think. So I will be back in a couple of weeks with my double-sized birthday bonanza haul. I thought it was going to be my last haul of the year, but I'll definitely have at least a couple, enough books for a haul in December. So until next time, thank you all for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, all that good mojo. And take care. Enjoy the weekend. See ya.